Welcome back to Philly Chevy Giant. It's Gordon Chevrolet. It's the Boulevard and Bustleton right here in the great Northeast. My name is Greg Hennis alongside Steve Silverio. And Steve, I am pumped. I am excited. It's a brand new month. But hey, before we go any further, we got to do one thing. We got to get it out of the way. The folks are dying to hear you say those magic words.
Just do the deal, Philadelphia.
And you know what else they love to see you do, Steve? They love it when you ring the gong and get it on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the month of March, and Steve, March is a spectacular time in the business. A spectacular time traditionally here at Gordon Chevrolet. The month of March has been fantastic. All month long, week after week, year after year, you've said, just do the deal. And in March, it's better than any other month of the year. Am I correct?
You're exactly right. We had a spectacular January. We had a even better February. We are expecting March to just absolutely run it off the road.
Now, I know there's a lot of great things that are going on right now. Number one, there are some spectacular opportunities for financing that are out there right now. Not only some of the banks that have been stepping up for you, but some of the opportunities that exist have never been better than they are right now. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. We got Chevrolet pushing behind us to have credit that I've never seen before. We've got subvented rates for subprime customers as low as 6.9%, which
Wow.
is never heard of. Most of the time it's 18, 17, 18%. I've seen on some of the used cars 22% with these banks. General Motors right now on some of these subvented rates on selected cars starting at 6.9%, which allows the customer to pay most of the payment towards the principal, not the interest, which gets that car paid off sooner and gets them into an equity position, and they don't have to worry about being what we like to refer to as upside down.
Well, I got to tell you, those things, along with some of the things that you do here at Gordon Chevrolet, is what really makes it special. So here's the question I pose to you, and we pose to the folks out there that want to know. Steve, it is the month of March. What are you going to do to take what happened in January, which was great, what happened in February, which was great, and turn it up a notch?
Here we go. Credit amnesty.
Meaning?
No matter what your credit looks like, we have a bank that guarantees credit approval for anyone.
And that's as easy as it sounds.
That's as easy as it sounds.
Okay, that's number one.
Number two, trade amnesty.
Meaning?
No matter what you owe on your car, no matter how flipped you think you are, negative equity, we're going to get you out of your car and get you into a brand new car at as low an interest rate as the banks will allow.
And you just said trade amnesty, meaning no matter what you owe, you're going to get out of it.
We're going to get you out of your car and get you into a brand new car.
That's two.
That's two.
What's three?
What three is, we're going to now extend for this month till next year, no payments.
Meaning the rest of this year, you're not going to make a payment?
You won't have any payments due till after Christmas of this year. Next year, you won't have a car payment.
So we'll make your payment for an entire year.
Yeah.
That's three things: credit amnesty, trade amnesty, and we'll make your payment for an entire year. That's it, right?
You're probably thinking right now is how in the hell are you going to do all this?
Well, that's true. I'm thinking that. My name's not kept. More.
One more.
More.
We're going to do on every new car, 1 penny over factory invoice, which they refer to as line 310 on the invoice. We're going to do 1 penny over minus all the rebates and incentives. In this month, we have rebates, discounts, and incentives on certain makes and models up to $7,500.
So that means that the customer gets to.
Time out. Can you shut the camera off, please? Steve, this is March. You understand that we're supposed to be making money this month. We don't need to do all this crazy stuff. People are going to come in anyway. It's March. I mean, we're just giving the store away here. This is totally outlandish.
Kevin, you've got to be able to offer the public something. We've got to continue on. We've had and you said it out of your own mouth the other day, we've had the best January since you've been here.
That's true.
That's true. The best February since you've been here.
That's true.
Why not have the best March?
You know, Steve, I'm with you. I understand that we want to have a great March, but again, I mean, March, we're supposed to be busy on our own. We're supposed to be making money, and then here I hear the cameras here, and I hear you're giving away everything again. We're doing trade amnesty. We're paying off everybody's trade no matter what they owe. We're doing credit amnesty, so we're getting everybody approved. I mean, that's something that we're really good at anyway. I'm not too worried.
I think you're buying into this a little bit.
Here's the part.
He's getting excited a little bit, Greg.
Here's the part that starts to scare me. I got payments till next year. 1 penny over invoice on all the new cars. We're doing 1 penny over invoice. So we're basically all the profit, everything's going out the window. How are we going to stay in business this month?
Very simply.
Okay.
We're going to sell a volume of cars, and we're going to take whatever deal we can take to get the customer down the road and make whatever we can make.
Okay.
And we're going to deliver the car. And we're going to use what? What's our expression?
Just do the deal.
Baby. Just do the
That's the key. That's the key, Kevin. Are you in? Are you in?
I'm starting to get on board a little bit. Again, I mean, this really scares me. I mean, to me, it sounds like, I got to go tell all the boys that, we're giving away the whole store this month. And
Did I let you down in January?
you didn't let me down, Steve.
let you down in
No, you
February?
didn't let me down in February either,
You
Steve.
think for one moment I'm going to let you down in March?
No, I'll tell you what. You know what?
Biggest month of the year.
We've been doing a great job. I mean, you haven't been wrong yet. I mean, again, it always makes me a little squeamish, but, you haven't steered us wrong yet. So, I mean, I guess I'm on board. Let's just do the deal.
All right, so you're buying into all four things. One more time, Kevin, just to make sure you're down with it and the boys are down with it. Number one.
We're doing trade amnesty. We're paying off everybody's trade no matter what they owe.
Number two.
We're doing credit amnesty, so we're going to get everybody approved.
Number three.
We're doing no payments till next year, so after Christmas is going to be your first payment. And here's the last one. This is the one that really makes me start to get nervous. We're doing 1 penny over factory invoice on every new car. Come in and say, just show me the invoice, and it's going to be 1 penny over.
And you know what's going to make you feel really good? Since there's four things we're talking about, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Sure.
Hit that gong 4 times. That'll make you feel better. Hit it 4 times. Go ahead, Kevin. 1. Here at Gordon Chevrolet, Philly Chevy Giant, not only is this a great place to come and do business, but you're going to find that every single thing that they talk about here, when it really comes push to shove, it gets done. We want to introduce you right now to a gentleman that actually came up to us and says, Greg, I want to talk about Gordon Chevrolet. And sir, what's your name?
My name's Harry.
All right, Harry, so how many cars have you bought here from Gordon Chevrolet?
4.
Okay.
I bought 2 Equinoxes, a Chevy Cobalt, now I just got a 2016 Chevy Malibu.
Now, I know that you really enjoy coming here. Is that correct?
Oh, without a doubt, yes.
And why is it that you enjoy coming here?
Because of Steve.
Steve.
Steve's the man. I mean, I seen him on the commercials, and he's the real deal.
All right, so would you like to have him come over and shake your hand?
Yeah, I would love it.
Steve, can you come over here for a minute? I know he's always talking to customers. I mean,
Can I
here he
get
is.
his autograph,
You,
too?
hey, listen, he'll give it to you. Go ahead, Harry.
Steve, I have to say one thing. Now, I love you guys. I bought my last 4 vehicles. I bought 2 Equinoxes, a Cobalt. Now I just bought the 2016 Chevy Cobalt. I don't want to put you down, but I didn't get a chance to ring the bell.
You want to ring the bell?
I want to ring that bell.
We'll let you do it, but you got to look at the camera and say, just do the deal, and then ring it.
All right.
Go ahead. Say, just do the deal.
Just do the deal.
Ring that gong.
All right. My man.
Just do the deal.
And if you're just joining us here at Gordon Chevrolet on the Boulevard, where at, Steve?
In the far northeast.
Otherwise known as the Great Northeast, there's 4 great things going on. Number 1, Steve, tell us what they are.
Trade amnesty.
Right.
Credit amnesty. No payments till next year. And 1 penny over invoice minus all rebates and incentives.
Now, is it really that easy, guys, to come in here to Gordon Chevrolet and say you're upside down with your trade? Is trade amnesty really as easy as it sounds?
It is when Steve's the owner of the business. You come in and like Steve said, we're going to get every single trade paid off no matter what you owe on the car. We're going to put you into the vehicle that you want to be in. I mean, just come on the lot, grab any sales associate, tell them what you're looking for. They're going to take you outside, show you the car, and we'll get all the numbers done for you. If we have any problems, they go to Steve, and what does Steve say?
Just do the deal, Kevin.
He always does. I'll tell you what, I see guys backing up behind me. Let me let you guys go.
All right.
Here's what really sells cars, and Kevin is starting to understand it. It's the way you make people feel when they come in. People come in. Somebody comes in, a little sore on the credit, had some problems, had a few bumps in the road. Okay, bad credit doesn't make a bad person. Here's what we got. Bring them in. Pick out a car they want, not a car we want. A lot of dealers say, hey, this is the car.
They stuff you in the car. They stuff you in.
That's the car. We don't do it. Go pick out the car you want to buy and drive home today. We'll make it work. That's our job.
And what about upfront credit, about treating people differently because, they've ran their credit score before they even look at a car? Do you guys do that? Do you run the credit score before you let them look at the car?
No, we don't. We walk them in, salesman sits them down. What exactly you're looking for? A 2-door, 4-door, sport utility, car, truck, whatever you want. If we've got it, you'll own it.
What kind of selection here at Gordon Chevrolet? Brand new, pre-owned vehicles do you have?
I have.
Steve, I have a customer at my desk with excellent credit and wants to buy a brand new Traverse. All they want to know is what's the best numbers we can give them on this car.
Okay. Credit score is?
Excellent, Steve.
They got excellent credit.
Excellent credit, Steve.
Okay. How much do they own their trade? A little bit more than probably what it's worth?
Just a little bit,
A
Steve.
little bit more?
Just a little bit.
What's a little bit? 8,000?
Let's go 6.5, Steve.
$6,500 more on their trade than really what it's worth, right?
It's tough.
All right. Good credit.
Good credit.
$6,500 more on the trade.
Cash buyer, Steve.
They want to pay cash for the car.
Yes.
Well, we're not allergic for cash here at Gordon Chevrolet. I can tell you that. I like cash. All right. I like to sell cars, but I also like cash. All right. I would say just do this. Just do the deal, Gia.
Thanks, Steve.
And ring that gong too. Ring it, ring it, ring it for your customer.
See the USA in a Gordon Chevrolet. America is asking you to call.
And you know what's next? He's going to put out a greatest hits album. You ready for that?
We're going to be doing the greatest hits albums. You're exactly right. We're going to bring back all the oldies.
Steve, ring that gong, because this guy can sing. He can do the deal, he can sing, but here is the bottom line. You get all 4 things that are going on this month right here at Gordon Chevrolet. Trade amnesty, credit amnesty, a penny over line 310 of the factory invoice. And it's really that easy, Steve. It's really a penny over.
It's a penny over.
There's no gimmick
Minus
to
all
it.
rebates and incentives.
And what do you mean by that? Minus all rebates and incentives.
For instance, pickup trucks this month. Between discounts, incentives, and everything, it's $7,500. You pay line 310 factory invoice. Minus the $7,500 in rebates, all the incentive money. So you're paying technically $7,500 behind invoice.
Uh-oh.
I got a customer, Steve. He wants to pay cash. He's been looking around. He's shopping for a Malibu. He wants the rock bottom price. What's the best deal we can do?
What kind of car?
Malibu.
A Malibu. Would that be the 2016 Limited or the new body?
New body.
New body. Well, you're in luck with one thing. Most dealers got 5 or 6 in stock. I've got 40.
Ooh, that's strong.
When I got 40, the deals come. Here's what we got. All right. I would take the factory invoice plus a penny and then minus out all their incentives and rebates. And if they have a trade, take out the trade and put whatever you got to put on the trade to make the customer happy. Within reason, but put the money on the trade. I don't care what it is.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
And do me a favor, Paul. Get over here, ring the gong for your customer, because they're going to be driving home today, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, it's just do the deal. It's March Mania, and here at Gordon Chevrolet, Philly Chevy Giant, not only when it's all said and done, Steve's going to look at you and say,
Just do the deal.
but he's also going to ring the gong for you, or you can ring the gong. And ladies and gentlemen, all month long, there has never been a better time than right now here to get to Gordon Chevrolet. Why? Because there's trade amnesty. And it's really that easy. People love the trade amnesty, Steve. People come in here that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 upside down. And it's amazing that you take all those people that are upside down and you turn them right side up. It's amazing.
And get them out of the vehicles and get them into a new vehicle of their choice.
And they have a smile on their face when they're done.
They have a smile on their face, and that's the most important, is to make people happy.
And they're happy.
And they're happy.
Number 2, you get all these people that have come in here. They've had credit problems before. They've been turned down. The other dealers say, we'd love to help you, but nobody can help you. I can't help you, but you say, bring it on.
Bring it on. I love the challenge. Too much on the trade. Tough credit. I got to be at a certain price. Like some of the cash buyers, they come in and say, this is what I want to pay. That's what you want to pay? Just do the deal and let's go.
And then, of course, you've got the situation where people say, I want the best possible deal on a brand new Chevrolet car, truck, even the hard-to-find Corvettes. I mean, you do it all with a penny. That's 1 cent over the line 310 of the factory invoice, and you don't hold anything back. Everything qualifies. Steve, that's unheard of.
And to prove what I'm saying, all you got to do is go to ChevyOnTheBLVD.com and look at our pricing, and everything right now is priced at 1 penny over invoice, and we've taken out all the incentives that you qualify for.
Now, when we talk about these incentives, that means that not only do they get the penny over the factory invoice, but the customer gets to keep the rebates. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Every one of them.
Hey, Greg, I need to interrupt Steve. This is very important. Steve, I have Kevin over at the desk swarming and worried. I have a customer who's here on trade amnesty, also on credit amnesty, but it's flipped 7,000.
What kind of credit score? Any idea?
Yeah, it's low.
Steve, what are you going to do?
What's the car really worth?
The car's worth about $4,500 maybe.
$4,500 tops. And they owe, I think I heard you say somewhere around 11.7.
That's exactly right.
So they're almost $7,200 upside down and already a high.
You got to know this car's a train wreck. I mean, it's absolutely destroyed. The thing's a complete pile of garbage.
The one that I've seen out there with the whole side caved in?
Yeah, that's the one. It's a real mess. I mean,
How did they owe 11.7 on that car? They bought it from
somebody that didn't care. I mean, it's, you know.
put them in a high interest rate for whatever and just got them down the road. And now they're
Correct. Credit isn't the best. Very high interest rate. I mean, so they still owe a huge amount on this car, and it's destroyed, like I'm telling you.
From what I heard somebody say, the payments that they have made on that car have been pretty good, even though they got a low score. And sometimes the score doesn't say the integrity of the person. Here's what I would say. I know this. You'll get it done. If anybody can get it done, you get it done. I'll tell you what I can do. I'll put the money on the trade, get them out of it, trade amnesty, buy them out of that vehicle, put it in the back. I'll get rid of it, and let's just do the deal, guys.
All right, Steve. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Aiden, ring that gong. Hit that gong, Aiden. Hit it for that customer. Hit it again because it was really tough. There.
How you doing? My name is Philip Jones, and I'm here at Gordon Chevy, the Chevy Giant. I'm here with my customer, Chase A. Sternfels, and he's here on the trade amnesty, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit of how his experience went.
Thank you, Philip. I came in with pretty much a lemon, and all day I've had anxiety about it, and you turn that experience around. I have not felt this secure with my vehicle as I have in months, and that's all due to you, and more so due to your patience. I'm not the easiest to deal with, and I appreciate your time and your generosity, and you really, I know when I'm leave here in a little bit, I'm going to be so much at ease, and thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm glad you had a pleasant experience at Gordon Chevrolet. And make sure you come to Gordon Chevy with a Chevy Giant, and it will definitely help you out.
Just do the deal.
So when they come here to Gordon Chevrolet on the Boulevard in the Great Northeast, not only can they take advantage of all these wonderful opportunities that you have, whether it be a penny over the factory invoice, which is amazing, including the Corvette.
Yeah.
Not only can they take advantage of that, they could take advantage of the trade amnesty or the credit amnesty or the payment for an entire year. But if push comes to shove and a deal just can't get quite done, Steve, you're going to actually talk to that customer if need be, and you're going to help push it along. Is that correct?
I'll do one better than that. I'll get on the bank I'll get on the phone with the bank myself and make the call to whatever banker.
We've seen that a lot of times.
And let me tell you, when the dealer gets on the phone with the bank that I do a lot of business with,
It's funny you say that real quick. This deal we were talking about with the trade that's just totally destroyed. I got Heath on the phone. You just need to sell the sizzle for me a little bit here on this deal. You got to tell him you believe in this deal. Can you talk to him real quick for me?
Hold on, folks.
Heath, how are you? Good. Now everything's good. Everything's good. You know that we're starting off in March. We've got a heck of a month. We were on a conference call this morning. Everybody's got to push hard this month, buy deals, and get this thing down the road. I know it's a tough deal. I know we're trying to exactly. I understand it. I'm telling you this. Kevin's going to interview the customer. If he feels everything's going to be fine, I need you to step up and just buy the deal. And by the way, I need a good rate on this one. I got to keep that payment as low as I can. Can you get me a 7.9%? No, 14% is too much. All right, 8.9. I'll talk to the customer. We'll put it in the system. I'll put the extra money on the trade, but I need you to buy the deal. All right? I'll do my half. You do your half. All right, Heath. Hey, Heath, by the way, listen. Just do the deal, Heath. Just do the deal, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I got to tell you, Steve, how unusual, all kidding aside, how unusual is it for a owner of a dealership to actually talk to the banks and will the deals into existence as you do by talking to them, explaining to them, and asking? How unusual is that?
It's very unusual. Most of the time, you can't even find the people that own these dealerships anywhere on the showroom floor or anywhere even in the dealerships. It's always just the management team that handles it. You can't even get to anybody.
Would you consider that the difference maker between a lot of the deals that you get done and the deals you don't get done is the fact that you are actually working those deals and putting in the extra effort when the bank is giving you a little pushback, you're giving a little push to make it happen?
I know this, what goes on here every day. People call me over and said, you are the guy on the commercial, and you are here. A lot of times they think it's just somebody that...
You're an actor or something.
An actor coming in, and they just pay somebody, like on a lot of these dealers' commercials. They don't have the real person there. And I come over and I sit down with them, I start talking to them. It makes people feel good to know that they're dealing with the person that owns the business. I look them in the eye. They know that I'm going to do whatever I can to make this deal happen. I have hundreds of success stories in the 3.5 years that I've been here. I think it makes a difference to know who you're dealing with and know that he's a neighborhood guy, he's here, he's doing what he can to help everybody out.
And from what I understand, you've even been known from time to time, you're out in the street or different stores, people come up to you and say, are you the guy that says,
just do the deal?
And you'll do it for them in person.
Oh, exactly right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here's the deal. Going on now through the close of business Saturday, here's what we know. It's a big month, right, Steve?
It's a huge month.
And not only is Gordon Chevrolet stepping up, but so are the banks as well. And here's what's going on. Number one, credit amnesty, meaning, oh, hold on.
Can you help me out here? Going to come to you one more time.
One more time.
One more time. We got a nice couple here. We've got the approval for them. We needed a little bit of money down, and they gave us the money down. The issue is they're going to probably have some problems with the first, maybe the second payment on the loan. They got something coming up in May. I think it's a wedding for the kid. So is there anything you can do for that?
Here's what I'm going to do. They're going to have a problem with the first payment.
Yeah.
And the second payment.
Probably.
I'll tell you what. How about if I do this? How about if I take care of that first payment?
Okay.
How about if I take care of that second?
Okay.
How about if I take care of that third?
Really?
How about if I take care of the fourth? How about if I take care of the fifth? How about if I take care of the sixth?
Okay.
How about if I take care of the seventh?
right.
How about if I take care of the eighth?
Okay.
How about if I take care of the ninth? And how about if I take care of the 10th? And over that, I'm going to take care of the 11th and the 12th.
Hey, payments for
Do the deal, Kevin.
Now that's something to talk. Come here, ring that gong. Ring it, ring it. Here at Gordon Chevrolet, not only do they just do the deal, but when it really push comes to shove, they help a lot of people here at Gordon Chevrolet. And Brian, you brought along with us a customer here I know you want to introduce us to.
Yes. Ms. Dolores came in today. She's been to other dealerships before. They could not get her approved. She came in. We got her approved and got her into the vehicle that she likes and comfortable with. So I'll introduce her. This is Ms. Dolores right here.
Dolores, when you first came here to Gordon Chevrolet, I know Brian just mentioned that you had been to other dealers and they couldn't get you done. So the million-dollar question is, when you came here to Gordon Chevrolet, did you expect to be able to get a car?
No, not really, no.
What did you expect to have happen?
I actually expected to be turned down.
And why was that? It's because you've been turned down at every other dealership you've been to?
Yes.
And what were some of the reasons that you heard?
Credit.
So as the word is out there on the street here at Gordon Chevrolet, there's a program called Credit Amnesty and Guaranteed Credit Approval. Now, you said that you've been to other dealerships and they turned you down. But here at Gordon Chevrolet, do they really have a Guaranteed Credit Approval, Credit Amnesty program that really works and gets you into a car?
Yes, they do. Yes.
And what are you driving now?
I'm driving a Chevy.
And what do you think of your brand new car?
I love it.
Did you expect to have a brand new Chevrolet?
No, I did not.
What did you come here really expecting?
To be turned down.
And it wasn't that case at all, was it?
Not at all.
How did Brian treat you?
Great, with respect and dignity.
And you know they have a famous saying here, right, Dolores?
Yes.
What is that saying? Look at the camera and tell us that famous saying.
Just do the deal.
Just do the deal.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Steve, we have a customer. He has no money down. He has below average credit. He owes about $4,000 more than what the car is actually worth. He's trying to get into a 2016 New Malibu. What can we do? How can we help this guy?
Money down?
He has no money down.
He has no money down.
No money
He's
down.
$4,000 upside down in his car.
Yes.
After an already high appraisal from what I've seen.
Yes.
And his credit's limited.
Yeah.
Does the customer want to purchase the car today from us now?
He wants it right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you two things on this deal, all right? The first thing I'm going to tell you is that I would never say no to you as big as you are.
Give us five. Give us five.
That's the first thing, okay? Second thing is, I would never say no to the customer that wants to purchase the car at Gordon Chevrolet. So what I would say, Willie, just do the deal, Willie.
Thank you, boss.
And Willie, can you ring that gong? Hit that gong. Hit it for those customers.
In January, Greg, I got to tell you, you and your team, it was huge. You guys have done a great job. February, same thing. I take my hats off to you. My team has done a great job.
Fantastic.
The banks have done a great job for us in getting us where we are right now. For instance, just in February alone, between everything that we had going on, we delivered 250 cars.
Whoa.
New and used.
That's big.
That's big. We had a huge month. And again, it's the neighborhood, it's the market, it's Philadelphia, and we've sold them again, like you said, Camden. I've had them come in from Harrisburg, Allentown, Reading, Baltimore, Wilmington, Atlantic City. I've had them come in from all over watching our show with you.
And you, the star.
And the star. All over and coming in, and we're putting these folks in cars because they can't get done in their local markets.
That's big.
That's huge.
And they come in, ladies and gentlemen, and what they love most of all is they get to see this guy right here. And he is truly on the showroom floor. And when it's all said and done, believe me, if you want him to come up to you, if he needs to help you, he will. But if you want him to come up to you and say, just do the deal, you're going to do that, aren't you, Steve?
I'll do that every time.
So say it right now to the folks of the Delaware Valley.
Just do the deal, Delaware.
Do it for the folks of the Lehigh Valley.
Just do the deal, Lehigh.
And for the folks of New Jersey, Steve.
New Jersey, come on in and just do the deal.
And ladies and gentlemen, right now through the close of business Saturday, here is the deal. Steve, take us through all four of these terrific offers.
Trade amnesty. Credit amnesty. No payments till next year.
That's big.
That's big. And 1 penny over invoice minus all factory rebates and incentives.
And what vehicle, let's just make sure we cover this, what vehicle does not qualify for a penny over the factory invoice line 310? What vehicle does not qualify of the brand new vehicles?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we've got to do full disclosure. So since I can't think of anything right this moment, I'm going to do them all.
Everyone?
Everyone.
Nothing held back. Nothing held back.
I got a problem, and I kind of don't even know why I'm asking you. I already know what you're going to say, but I got a customer here wants to pay 1 penny over invoice on the brand new Z06 convertible. We're going into springtime. This is close to a $100,000 sports car. We really got to do this.
To do 1 penny over, you're looking at almost $10,000 off.
Yes.
The sticker price on that car, very close to it.
Very rare car. Very rare car.
And I know this customer, I can see his plates out there. He drove in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How he's seen your commercial over in Pittsburgh.
Internet's a wonderful thing.
Internet's a wonderful thing. 1 penny over. Kevin, I don't even have to think about it. Just do the deal.
All right. Like I said, I don't even know why I had to ask you. I knew what you were going to say. Thanks, Steve.
That's incredible. Kevin, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. If you love the idea of coming to a dealership where they are going to take care of you, if you love the idea of coming in and visiting with Steve and him looking you in the eye and saying,
Mr. Customer, just do the deal.
And when it's all said and done, you're going to have the ability and the opportunity now through the close of business Saturday to take advantage of this. 1 penny, he said, over the line 310 factory invoice. Correct, Steve?
Minus all incentives and rebates.
Which you keep.
The customer keeps.
The customer keeps.
Customer keeps it.
That's number one. Number two, we make your payment for how long?
Till next year.
Number three, trade amnesty, meaning
we're going to pay off your trade no matter what you owe.
And number four, and certainly not least important, credit amnesty.
Credit amnesty, we're going to send it into the bank, and we're going to get a bank to buy the deal on the car that you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now through the close of business Saturday. Now through the close of business Saturday. Trade amnesty, credit amnesty will make your payment for an entire year, and you will pay 1 penny over the factory invoice. But remember, it all ends when the lights go out. They close the doors on Saturday. It's over. It's gone. But in the meantime, get here to Gordon Chevrolet. It's Philly Chevy Giant on the Boulevard and Bustleton right here in the Great Northeast. And when it's all said and done, Steve's going to look at you and say,
just do the deal, Philadelphia.
Steve, ring the gong and take us home. Remember, it's right here at Philly Chevy Giant, Gordon Chevrolet. Steve says,
just do the deal, Philadelphia.
Thanks for watching.